in the comments.
Raven Symoné slams death threats aimed at her wife Miranda.
And stop with the death threats in her DMs. It is disrespectful to her and in turn disrespectful to me.
Girl, have you heard the drama that's been blowing up all over social media for a while now? Raven Symoné, yes, our favorite psychic from That's So Raven, is furious, and she's not holding back. Her wife, Miranda Mayday, has become the target of some wild death threats and hateful messages from none other than Raven's own fans. And wait until you hear why. It's all because of something Miranda said on a podcast. You seriously won't believe how quickly this spiraled out of control. The level of impatience by fans these days is alarming. It doesn't take much to trigger fan bases anymore, especially for evergreen icons like Raven.
She should have won all the Emmys. I think my wife is endlessly talented. I support her beyond.
Now, let's rewind a little to when Raven first met Miranda. According to the superstar, it all happened at a karaoke bar in West Hollywood. Across the room sat the pretty Miranda Mayday, who was having a good time herself. But the moment they spotted each other and their eyes locked on, she instantly felt a connection she later described as almost psychic. That was the moment she knew they were meant for each other. That's pretty cute, right? It feels like a love story straight out of Hollywood. Even though Raven's career hasn't been the same compared to the early and late 2000s, she's still a star in her own right, and she's got a pretty strong following. I mean, a lot of young kids, especially girls, grew up watching her, so that fan love is forever, but it comes at a cost. While Raven called it love at first sight, her fans were a bit skeptical about Miranda's intentions, and plenty of eyebrows were raised. That was the moment the couple knew they were in for a long ride if the relationship was going to work, and just like they predicted, it was rough. They broke up and made up a couple of times before finally growing up.
Nope.
We met in 2015.
Okay.
And then we dated, broke up, got back together.
We dated for like how long? 6 months?
For fans who don't really know who this wonderful couple is, let's do a quick dive into their story. Raven Symoné isn't just any celebrity. She's an iconic Disney Channel star, known worldwide for hit shows like That's So Raven and movies such as The Cheetah Girls. For many of us, Raven defined childhood nostalgia. She's been in the game for a long time, as far back as The Cosby Show in the 90s, but many know her as the one and only Raven Baxter. But here's where things get spicy. Miranda confessed she never actually watched Raven's iconic Disney shows growing up. That's right, no visions, no catchy songs, nothing. Can you imagine marrying someone without ever having watched their most famous work? Fans had plenty to say about this shocking revelation, and trust me, they were not holding back their opinions. And now, here's where the tea really boils over. Miranda appeared alongside Raven on the podcast Bottoms Up with Fanita, and honey, things got controversial fast. She casually dropped that Raven was not on her radar before they met, openly admitting again that she hadn't watched That's So Raven or Cheetah Girls.
And the number of comments that people left saying, you think you can do that trend and you didn't even watch the show one time? I'm like, how does that make sense, sir? Like, I'm married to her.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy that she hadn't watched her wife when she was a child star? I mean, everyone's got preferences, right? Well, Raven's fans don't seem to think so. Immediately after the interview aired, social media exploded with reactions ranging from outrage and disbelief to sheer surprise. Fans immediately jumped to conclusions, wondering if Miranda was being genuine or subtly shady. Did she innocently share her truth, or did she unintentionally trigger Raven's fiercely protective fans into defensive mode? Either way, this podcast episode turned their sweet romance into an unexpectedly hot topic. But you know what's crazy? Fans didn't even care about the more juicy stuff they talked about on the podcast. From when they met to how their relationship evolved to the point where they knew they were meant to be forever, they talked about it all. But nope, they couldn't care less about all that. The fact that she kept saying she didn't watch That's So Raven growing up really triggered many. And just like that, the little fire that started from a little conversation on a podcast spiraled out of control. Trust me when I tell you that fans went wild. I mean, they went crazy. The internet quickly erupted into chaos within days, with comments flooding in accusing Miranda of being disrespectful or even suspicious. Tweets like, "How can you marry a Disney icon without ever seeing their work?" dominated timelines. Some even went as far as calling her shady, while others said she was giving off major red flag vibes. And just when we thought things were finally dying cooling down, the fire erupted again, this time even more massive. The relentless critics took it one step further. They questioned the authenticity of their relationship, openly wondering if Miranda's lack of fangirling was a red flag about her true intentions. But here's the tea these fans totally missed. Podcast host Fanita jumped in to clarify the whole situation. She pointed out that Miranda was only 13 when That's So Raven aired, and simply wasn't tuned into Disney Channel at the time. You'd think after hearing this context by Fanita, they'd stop the trolling, but they didn't. They even amplified it more, with Fanita herself catching some stray. Honestly, this had to be one of the most unnecessary dramas ever in Hollywood. It's crazy how it kept getting more intense by the day. You're probably thinking, well, that's enough trolling, they should rest now. Girl, they didn't, and this time, it got scary. The backlash escalated dramatically away from petty comments and subtweets. It got so heated that it finally crossed a dangerous line. Miranda started receiving hateful messages and terrifying death threats directly into her DMs. It got so bad that Raven herself had to step in and call out the trolls, and even some blue-check verified accounts publicly. In an emotionally charged TikTok video, Raven didn't hold back. She told their trolls to stop with the death threats because not only is it dangerous and disrespectful to Miranda, but it was also disrespectful to her. After all, they all claim to be her fans.
To stop it in the comments and stop with the death threats in her DMs. It is disrespectful to her and in turn disrespectful to me. Stop it.
Just think about it for a second. If the critics all claim to be Raven's fans, why are they trolling her wife for something she said? It's not like what she said is impossible or anything like that. Not everyone was a Disney fan growing up, and that's a fact. Raven didn't stop there though. She continued to fiercely defend her wife, saying that haters will always hate, and by all means, they should do or say whatever they want. But one thing they shouldn't do is threaten her wife and her marriage over a squabble of words. Raven clearly wasn't playing around, and she stood her ground, making sure everyone knew that messing with Miranda meant messing with her too. After Raven's powerful defense, Miranda herself stepped into the spotlight alongside her wife, trying to clear the air. In the same heartfelt video, Miranda emphasized that she knew exactly who Raven was because she was the buzz back in the day. But the fact that she knew her didn't mean she grew up watching her shows. She also made it crystal clear that she had since caught up on Raven's iconic work and some of her newer projects too.
I hope to clear the air right now and letting you all know that I never have once said that I did not know who Raven was. I only ever said that I did not grow up watching That's So Raven. I did not watch her as a child. But since getting married and meeting her in 2015, I have seen the majority of her work. I've also been at a lot of this work. So I mean, backstage at The View, 25 words or less. The list goes on and on.
Miranda didn't stop there. She praised her wife's talent passionately, but also reaffirmed her love for her. To her, Raven's more than just the actress or the star. She's her partner and her best friend.
I think she should have won all the Emmys. I think my wife is endlessly talented. I support her beyond. She also just isn't Raven Symoné to me. You guys must try and open your minds a little bit and understand there is more behind people that are celebrity. There is real life here. And that's why we're feeling inclined to address this, because I'm receiving so much hate for something that is really just a big spiral of internet misinformation.
They couldn't have done anything better to address the whole drama, could they? It was clear that they were just victims of misinformation, a common occurrence on social media. But Miranda really got cooked, to be honest. Now, fans are seriously divided. Were they just protective of their beloved Raven? Or was this a glaring case of toxic fandom going way too far? Podcast host Fanita again stepped into the drama, pointing out that Miranda was literally 13 when Raven's shows aired and definitely wasn't glued to the Disney Channel. Plus, Fanita reminded everyone just how genuine and fun the couple was during filming. Could this whole messy controversy have been avoided with better context up front? Well, maybe, but the internet is going to troll who they want to regardless. Behind closed doors, Raven and Miranda's marriage reveals something entirely different from the public frenzy. It's a journey of healing, honesty, and openness. They've been candid about their experiences with couples therapy, describing their marriage as deeply healing and built on genuine, honest conversations. Raven herself has openly shared how Miranda provided provides her with a grounding reality, something rare for celebrities who've spent their entire lives in the spotlight. But with all this drama brewing outside their door, how strong can their bond remain? At the end of the day, this drama highlights the blurred lines between celebrity personas and real-life relationships. Fans often struggle to see beyond the glitz and glamour, confusing a celebrity's persona with their true self. So here's the question we're left with. Can we ever separate celebrity from reality? Or will drama always erupt when fandom meets the truth behind the image? One thing's for sure, Raven and Miranda won't tolerate further harassment quietly. Things have since quieted down though. Social media is a weird place. People don't stay on one story for too long. So here's a question for you. Do you really believe that it's possible Miranda didn't watch any of Raven's hit shows growing up? Or do you think otherwise? Share your thoughts in the comments and leave us a like. Would be nice if you subscribe to our channel too.